So here in Moyross, I think there's a group of workers on the ground that recognised that we need to have some kind of programme together for young people. And horses, there was a history of horses, a culture of horses, and we saw that as very much a strength in the young people here in the community, so we needed to put something together for that. And the school principal above said, look, I have this kid, he's only 5, but you need to see him. And what happened was, when we saw Wesley and we saw him interacting with the horse, as every instructor ever since has seen, their eyes lit up. And I saw that. I used to watch reaction on instructors' faces when they saw Wesley, and her eyes lit up.
My first visit to Moyross, which is 10 years ago now, I remember coming in here and I just couldn't get over the horse, how important the horse was to this community, what it meant to them.
He had a drive and a desire, and if you asked him even in those early days, he would have said, you know, I'd love to be a jockey, I'd love to race horses, I'd love to work with horses.
I suppose he's a character, from day one was always a character. Serious on the track, but a bit of a messer and good laugh, you know. There's a good bit of banter, especially between ourselves, obviously being Limerick lads. So yeah, from day one there's always been a good presence and a good factor about him.
He was on the road, he was doing well, he was riding, and he was riding a number of winners. And all of a sudden then, that awful day in Galway.
He came down, but he came down very hard, and at that speed, with horses coming that quick behind you, still going forward to get a position, we knew inside it wasn't going to be good. He wasn't going to come back in with just cuts and bruises.
Got the call minutes later from Michael Mulvaney, and I got my car, drove to Galway. Sorry. Oh, yeah, so I'm getting quite emotional about it now. We definitely thought that we were going to lose Wesley.
The most traumatic injury that I have dealt with on the racecourse. We were very lucky. My colleague Richard Downey from the HRI Medical Officers was there with me. We had an extremely experienced crew in the Order of Malta who need huge thanks for this. But everybody on the day, if you were to look at how a significant injury would be managed and for everything to go right, it did for Wesley, including the racecourse staff in Galway, the local guards, Professor McEnena who works for the racecourse, who also works in Galway Hospital. He had the entire trauma team on standby, so within 25 minutes of a significant injury, Wesley was in Galway Hospital.
But the minute he came through, the first thing he wanted to be was, when would he be able to get back riding?
He woke up and he said to me, did you see it? I said, no. He said, have you watched it back? There's some fall. I thought, no, I haven't. And he was out of business and trying to shimmy with his phone and show me what had happened, and I was like, whoa. And one of the first things he said to me was, I can't wait to get back. Always kind of believing in himself and having that drive and ambition. That's what spurred him on after he left hospital. He left hospital under 6 stone. You know, he was a sick young man. He was very weak, he was very frail, and we were all very worried for him. And I think, but I knew, look, the best thing was he was alive and he was eager to get going. And all the way to the 7th of August in Naas, that day was hugely emotional for all his family. To see so many family there on the day was very, very special.
But I've never met him right from that day right through to now that he hasn't smiled and he hasn't said, we'll get there, we'll be okay. And it was nearly like he was reassuring me at times, no, it's going to be okay.
Look, it's great. He's on a great roll for the point of the year where he came back riding. The amount of winners he's ridden from then until the end of the season has been brilliant, and I'm sure, touch wood, all being well, he'll have an even better season next year.
Have you seen him in Galway and you've seen him, you see where he is today, it's fantastic, you know, it's a kind of a miracle.
And now what we see, I suppose, is young people looking up to Wesley and saying, actually, you know what, they have the aspiration now because they see a member of their community is a jockey, is living out his dreams, and they know, well, I can do something similar to that as well.
Wesley's just an outstanding individual, a great guy. He's a credit to his community, to his family, to Moyross, to his school and all that, but he is also just an unbelievable role model for his community.
We have a very proud sporting tradition here in Limerick, and Wesley Joyce is very much part of that now, and as a city we're very, very proud.
He's loved all over the place because he kind of has that cheeky little bit of a personality, and sure, he gets away with it.
The same Wesley, the same character. He hasn't lost any of his spark. Still torments me on a daily basis, and yeah, look, he's good fun, and yeah, look, even though he is a little bit quieter, it's great to have him around.
He's really pushed himself beyond the limits from a young boy through his teenage years, through to the start of his career, in the early days of his apprenticeships with Johnny and with Michael Mulvaney, and I think where he's come from mentally, physically, in the last 18 months has been phenomenal, and I hope that people recognise that in terms of the achievement of this award. Yeah.